Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Thursday morning. It's Stephen Whiteside here from the Uptrend.com. In the pre-market this morning, things are fairly quiet. Stock index futures are currently trading slightly below fair value, while commodities are higher. We do have some big numbers coming out this morning at 8:30. We've got CPI numbers and jobless claims. They could certainly shake up the market before it opens at 9:30. Now, it's morning in Florida, and the last person I talked to last night was about 11 o'clock, and I haven't heard from anybody this morning. I sent out good morning messages earlier, but haven't heard from anybody. I would expect a lot of people do not have electricity in Florida. We don't know anybody who lived near the coast who stayed around, but we certainly know people who were farther inland and closer to the East Coast that stayed at home and hunkered down. So it'd be interesting to see how everybody did. And of course, we hope for the best for everyone. Now, in the news this morning, we've got the TD Bank out. It's been treading water. This is the New York listing. Our panic zone chart was certainly pointing to lower prices. We're just coming off a couple of early warnings up there at the top of the panic zone chart. Currently, we're trading down around the 60.94 level in the pre-market on Thursday morning. So that could put some downward pressure on the Canadian banking sector on Thursday. The market's watching Tesla closely. They're coming out with their robo-taxi announcement or presentation today, and that could certainly affect the price of Tesla. Now, looking at the VIX is still elevated. It is still on a buy signal, and I would always tell you that that is an indication that we should expect lower stock prices, but that's not what's happening right now, and so we can see that options traders tried to get ahead of the big spike in seasonality for the VIX in October, and so far that reality hasn't started yet. So we're a bit off on our timing, and the market continues to push higher. The major indices, some of them made new highs yesterday. There was the Dow up yesterday on the back of Honeywell, IBM, and Caterpillar. Those were the big winners on the Dow. On the S&P 500, believe it or not, the big winners were the cruise lines. Norwegian was the biggest winner on the S&P 500, followed right behind by Carnival and Royal Caribbean. Those were the big winners on the S&P 500. I think it was Citigroup put out an announcement yesterday upgrading those stocks. Then we've got the triple Qs moving up yesterday on the back of MongoDB. That was the big winner on the NASDAQ yesterday. Then looking at the TSX, it made a new high yesterday, and Bird Construction was the big winner on the TSX 60. It was First Service was the big winner, second day of a buy signal there. Then looking at what worked yesterday, well, the biggest winner in North America were Canadian technology stocks. In percentage terms, it was Celestica, but of course, Shopify is the elephant in the room. And yesterday we were looking at Shopify hitting 212.50. And I mentioned that was the top of our projected trading range, which is now expanded, and 118.75 is our next target for Shopify. Next up, let's take a look at our 31 stocks in 31 days. And so far, here's the stocks we've looked at. Next week, this list won't fit on the page anymore, and I will just talk about changes to any of these stocks. If we scan through them right now, Apple is back on a buy signal as of Wednesday's close. Now, if the market were to move down sharply after these announcements come out at 8:30, you could wave off that buy signal and wait for the next close above the upper channel line. Or if the market is flat or positive, you'll want to take that buy signal in Apple coming off a higher low put in a couple of days ago. No joy for Boeing, made a new low yesterday. Things are pretty well the same for Chipotle. It's still on a buy signal. Still treading water here. So we did get a sell signal, which we waved off, looking for the next close below the lower channel line. That has not happened yet. There's Canadian Natural Resources back up at the $50 level. So it may be able to break out above the August highs. Now, if it doesn't, let's say that $50 remains as an area of resistance, the lower trend line is continuing to move higher daily. So, as things have turned around since the initial buy signal, this line has continued to move higher. So your breakdown point is moving up towards the $50 level, even if we don't break out above it. Then looking at Dollar General and Dollar Tree, and then Dollarama making a new high. So I mentioned good things happen to good stocks, bad things happen to bad stocks. So even with the U.S. markets making new highs yesterday, wasn't enough to bring up the U.S. dollar stores, while Dollarama made a new high on Wednesday. Take a look at Etsy, nothing going on there, while FedEx moved up into the channel yesterday. So looking for a close on Thursday above $268.78 to give us a new buy signal for FedEx. And then GE Aerospace was up on the day. We need a close on Thursday below $184.54 to give us a new sell signal for GE Aerospace. Now, this morning, we're moving into the H's and taking a look at Hydro One, the Canadian utility company. Currently, it's ranked a 7 on the weekly and a 2 on the daily. And what we need to investigate, of course, is that 7 moving up, or is it moving down from 10? And is that 2 moving up from 0 or down from 10? That is something we're going to see over the next couple of minutes. Now, on the monthly chart, this is a beautiful chart. We've been on a buy signal for a long time. A little bit of weakness in late 2023 here. And then we got right back on the horse and continued to move higher. So this is a beautiful chart. It's in sync with the stock market, moving from the bottom left to the top right. Looking at a weekly flypaper channel, are investors willing to buy the dips? And so far they are. Notice the dip, if we come down right now, is in the $38 to $40 area. If we were to come straight down, which we probably won't, it'll probably take several months to come down to that level. On the daily chart, are they willing to buy the dip? Well, they have been recently, and we're in the flypaper channel right now. So it'll be interesting to see if we can find some support at this level. Looking at a weekly midterm chart, you can see back in 2023, so right where we are right now, we had a dip. And if we go back to 2022, right where we are right now in the season, we had a dip as well. So this is seasonally a weak period for Hydro One. It doesn't look like it's done too much damage to it in 2024, but that's what it looks like at the moment. Looking at price targets, and the monthly chart and the weekly charts that we're looking at in this presentation were made last weekend. We don't update them during the week because you really don't need to care about either the monthly or the weekly chart until the end of the week, especially for the weekly charts. For the monthly chart, you don't have to care till the end of the month, of course. So going back, looking at our weekly price target chart from last Friday, we were looking to find support at the 43.75 level. And looking at the daily chart, you can see 43.75 has acted as support for the last couple of days. And yesterday, the low of the day was 43.75. Now, if we break that level, then it opens up the playing field for 2 lines down at 42.19 and 40.63. Those are the next targets on our way down. Now, the pros and the public, well, the pros are in control at the moment. They're just coming down at the moment. So this is a beautiful chart. I would certainly follow this chart and look for buying opportunities when the pros come back and take control. And looking at the weekly right side chart, we need a close this coming Friday below $44.04. We're currently trading above that level coming into Thursday's trading action. Looking at the weekly panic zone chart, you can see the early warning signals across the screen. The market traded through that one, but not, those two, but not that one. And this is the one we're dealing with at the moment. And so we are projecting lower prices here. And if you're a long-term investor, you can wait for the next low-risk buying opportunity. Next time you see a pressure zone at the bottom of the screen, and then you see the stock start to turn around, that's the time you would want to get in. Looking at the daily midterm chart, you can see that momentum has started to roll over, and we've started to sell off on a short-term basis. You can see on the daily smart money chart that the pros have given up control, and we have been moving down over the past couple of weeks. Looking at the daily panic zone chart, look at the early warning signals across the top of the screen. That one worked, that one worked. The last two up here did not, and then there's the most recent one. And you can see we're currently projecting down to the $41 level. And if we match that up with our price targets, 41 comes in just above the 40.63 level. So that playing field that may open up if we start to break down below 43.75, that is certainly doable to run down to those next 2 lines. Looking at our daily right side chart, we're currently on a sell signal. We've been that way for a couple of weeks now, and we're looking for a close on Thursday above 45.86. If that doesn't happen on Thursday, of course, that upper channel line is going to continue to move lower daily. Okay, folks, that is all for this morning's presentation. Hydro One looks like a very attractive stock, whether you're looking at for a long-term purchase or for short-term trading. I would certainly want to be on the long side of that stock next time it turns around. This is a seasonally weak period for the stock. It is starting to pull back. There's no major breakdown so far. If you are trading or investing in Hydro One, you've had opportunities to lock in profits up at the top of the range. So congratulations if that's your story. Otherwise, it looks like a beautiful stock, and we'll enjoy getting into it next time it turns around. Okay, folks, that is all for this morning's presentation. Waiting for those big numbers to come out at 8:30 this morning, and they could certainly turn the market around, and we'll just have to wait and see how the market reacts to those numbers. Enjoy the rest of your day. Next time you'll hear my voice is on Friday morning, and at Friday morning we'll take a look at the most actively traded stocks in North America from both sides of the border.